Greetings, YouTube. I was recently in a thrift store and looking at some books. Thrift stores are one of the last few places I go bargain hunting any longer. I go to thrift shops, at least the larger, more well-organized ones, because they actually follow COVID mitigation processes. And I go to yard sales because they're outside and I can wear a mask and it's easy to get away from people. Other than that, I pretty much am not doing bargain hunting at the moment, unless I happen upon something like lying alongside the road. And I actually have done that, not that long ago. Um, and I wish I'd taken a picture of this book because I should have. But it was a book about how capitalism is not the problem and how the real problem are social issues. And then that was the premise of the book. And the blurb on the front talking about how capitalism isn't the problem, and the little blurb on the back about how capitalism isn't the problem, sounded so goddamn desperate. It was just this, you could just imagine this sweating, nervous, panicking dude grabbing your lapel, trying to desperately convince you that, no, you understand, it made absolutely no sense. And it was not convincing in the teensy little bit. And you have to make me wonder that if just possibly someone is so desperate for me to believe that capitalism isn't the problem, that in fact capitalism is the problem. Of course, capitalism has been the problem for a really long time. Capitalism has been plaguing North America since Europeans showed up. So, yeah, it's been a problem here for 400 years. So, it's been a problem in Europe for even longer. Because remember, at the foundation of capitalism, the three legs of capitalism are poverty, accumulation of wealth, and the exploitation of humans and nature. Those are the three legs of capitalism. Without poverty, the whole thing collapses. Without the concentration, the accumulation of wealth into the hands of the few, capitalism collapses. And if you don't exploit humans and nature, capitalism collapses. If you follow a guideline that makes sure that there is no poverty and the concentration of wealth is limited and make sure it's properly mitigated and that humans and nature are not exploited, you can still have commerce, but you won't have capitalism anymore. And I don't mind commerce. I don't. When I go to a yard sale, I'm engaging in commerce. When I go to a flea market, when I used to go to flea markets, I'm engaging in commerce. When I go to any place, I'm engaging in commerce. They have an item, I give them money, everybody's happy. It's just that, like at a yard sale, I have the ability to bicker a bit more and come up with better deals a bit more. I mean, I got a nice ammo can for $10 the other day, and I got a wrench from the Olympia company, $5. It's still in its damn packaging, never used. That's a nice deal. I have no idea how much that wrench cost originally. It's a design I've never seen. For $5, it's worth the entertainment for me. And obviously, the guy that used to have it, who's no longer with us, doesn't need it. So his son sold it to me. Everybody's happy. He got rid of something that he didn't need. It was the house. He's not going to use it. So he's passing it on to somebody else. That's commerce. I got no problem with that. What I have a problem with is capitalism. Because that follows those three rules I mentioned. You have to have poverty for capitalism to work. This is poverty. This is what poverty does. Without this, the system doesn't work the way the people at the top want it to work. They need everybody involved to understand that if you don't play along, you, and everyone you know, will suffer. And that's what poverty does. Poverty keeps people in line, keeps them tired, keeps them worn out, keeps them not wanting to get engaged in processes that may benefit themselves. The threat of being fired is constant, so they're afraid to unionize. They're afraid to question when they see a coworker or themselves being abused. When they find out that their pay has been, some of their pay has been stolen. Maybe only a little bit, but a little bit, if it's for every single employee at the place, and it's been going on for years and years, is a lot of money. I mean, if you steal $500, you're going to go to prison. But if your boss steals $500 from you each year, and they do it to every single employee, and they get caught, and anybody actually says, you have to pay that back, they'll be given every opportunity in the world to spread those payments out over time, or do a nice lump sum, or maybe you can get people to sign on to things, say, okay, you can get a $50 gift card as long as you don't sue, because if you or threaten to sue, because if you threaten to sue, you'll actually get the full payment. But if you just sign the little document and get the gift card because they haven't told you there's more money coming, that's legal, because I've seen that kind of thing happen. I think that kind of thing has happened. Businesses are evil. They are going to use you, exploit you, chew you up, wear you out, and spit you out. Boom! You are nothing but the cheapest robot that they have access to right now. And when they actually have access to cheap, functional, universal robots, you're gone. Period. You and I, we are the Pony Express towards full automation. Our life expectancy is numbered. Yeah, it's been a long run, but we're numbered. And what's going to happen to us when they're done with us? Because the capitalists aren't smart enough to understand that without a consumer base, they're not going to sell anything. I think they're hoping when the wealth is finally accumulated by all the wealthy people, so there's like 1,000 billionaires or something on the planet, that those 1,000 people will then support the entire capitalistic system, because the rest of us will have been thrown away. I think the capitalists actually believe that. Because every capitalist I've ever encountered so far in newspapers and in books and on television and the radio and things like that, when they talk about it, seems to be under the impression that the ideal system is if every single employee, every single worker costs nothing, and every single consumer had an infinite supply of disposable income. That would be the ideal system to them. They pay nothing for processing their products, and the people they sell their products to have an infinite supply of money, and there's an infinite supply of those people with an infinite supply of money. Not seem to understand that for every single person that has disposable income, they are someone else's employee. So if you take the wages all the way down, this doesn't go up. This goes down with it. It's not a seesaw. If you bring the wages down to the point where the workers have no income, say because they've been replaced by robots, there's no disposable income. There is no consumer base. And those 1,000 billionaires that are left at the top, who've gotten it all, who've won the capitalistic lottery, do you think they're going to consume everything you can make? Of course not. The whole system collapses. I figured this out on my own. I didn't even need to read Marx. But it's important to remember that we, the people, we can stop this. Because we have votes. And if the votes fail, we do have other options. The capitalists seem to forget that the system we have now, when it functions, when you have a commerce system like they do in most socialist European style systems in Europe, when you have those systems that work, that they're safest. That when it was really unequal, sometimes the workers would get tired of it. and then kick your door in at night and drag you into the street and beat you to death. They seem to have forgotten that part. And you know, I think they should remember that part. Really, I do. Because sometimes sequels aren't really all that bad.